SmackDown took place in Barcelona, Spain, as WWE is on their annual European tour. This was the first of 6 live events that's going to take place in Europe, and this was actually the first ever SmackDown ever broadcasted in Spain. The show started off when we see a bunch of beautiful Gothic architecture in Barcelona, Spain. It's a very beautiful city, very rich culture. I really don't like talking much about the city, and because WWE always shows us the skyline of a typical American city with all these big skyscrapers. But here we got to see all these ancient Gothic architecture buildings, and I just thought it was really nice, and it definitely felt very different. And also the arena itself was much different, because basically all American arenas feel the same. Now, it is a bit different when they go to the theaters, like in NXT. That feels different, but here, this felt different. Just felt like it was a different place, a different atmosphere, and you can tell by the fan reactions, they were really into this, and we know they are because the European crowds are generally crazy. I have to say, compared to other crowds, it was not like the French crowd from Backlash last year, which they were just insane the whole show, but they weren't really into the show as much they were into themselves, just like singing throughout the whole show. The Scottish crowd was great. The German crowd was also very good in Berlin. You can go back a couple years back for Money in the Bank in London. That was good. So we always get good European crowds. And this was just a great crowd. They were really into the show. They cheered. And it was the kind of thing where they're not necessarily focused on getting themselves over like the French crowd in Lyon, France last year, but they were more so into the show. So we see Cody Rhodes, Gunther, Carmelo Hayes, Randy Orton, Street Profits, DIY, and Paul Heyman all arriving in Barcelona for the show. They all get pops. I think Randy had the biggest pop. I thought Gunther would because he's from Europe, but Randy, he's just a god in Europe. I don't know why. They love Randy Orton. So he had LA Knight open the show. Fans are just insanely loud as he does all his big catchphrases. They're doing the yeah with him. Anytime he talks, they do the rhetorical yeah. So he's then interrupted by Jimmy Uso, who wants a U.S. title shot. Then out comes Solo Sikoa, who's accompanied by Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. And Solo demands a Jacob challenge for the U.S. title. He calls Jimmy the failure of the family. Then Jimmy brings up Solo losing the Ula Fala to Roman. That brings the fans to chant OTC. Fans really wanted Roman Reigns here tonight. They didn't get him. He was never advertised. Sorry, Barcelona. I apologize, but they never advertised Roman Reigns for you guys. Didn't work out. So you had them turn into a brawl, as you know it would. Tama Tonga had a DDT on Jimmy. And then Solo and Jacob run in. They beat down LA Knight. It's 3-on-2. And then all of a sudden, Braun Strowman sprints to the ring like he's the ultimate warrior to make the save. I have to say his running looked a bit better. It usually looks awful. Maybe it was just the camera angles, but it always just looks so bad. Recently tonight, or earlier today, I should say, is when the show took place, my time, I looked a bit better. Then he had Nick Aldis come out. He did his best Teddy Long impression, playa, and he made a 6-man tag team match, playa, to start the show. Unfortunately, he didn't announce that The Undertaker will be in the match now. But it's I wish he would have just said playa, because it really would have fit SmackDown in his legacy. Teddy Long making tag matches, because this happens every damn, not every SmackDown, it always happens on SmackDown. So we get a 6-man tag. Braun Strowman pins the loser, Tama Tonga. I bet he can't wait for Tonga Loa to come back so he can become the jobber of the group again, because Tama Tonga, man, he's nothing. He's just small, and man, he just gets hit with the running power slam. After the match, Solo attacked Braun Strowman, and then LA Knight and Solo Sikoa battle into the crowd. Jimmy was taken out by Jacob, I believe, from a super kick, and then Jimmy attacks. Sorry, did I say Jimmy? No. Jacob took out Jimmy with the super kick. Then Jacob attacks Braun. He hits 3 moonsaults onto Braun. He then backs towards the ring, and then as Braun is able to get back up, Jimmy runs towards the ring, and Braun's on the outside now. He runs into Braun, and they smash through a barricade, and he leaves him laying, and this is revenge for Braun chokeslamming him through 2 tables last week, and next week they're going to have their match. So we see, and it's weird because Braun's always gotten the better of him. I mean, the match on Saturday night's main event, Braun was destroyed, but he won the match by DQ. And in the Rumble, Braun eliminated Jimmy. So I think Jimmy better win next week. They show us highlights of last week's great segment with Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill. And then we see Kathy Kelly have an interview with Jade Cargill. And I have to say, Kathy is cleavageless tonight. I hate acting like this, but oh my god. Did you see that damn white dress she wore on Raw? Ooh, we all miss her white dress. Anyway, I'm sure Kathy probably, if she heard that, she'd probably be flattered by the stuff she posts. Anyway, it's Kathy interviewing Jade, and she asked her about the events of her attack, and then Jade says, it's so weird when I heard this. She says she remembers being attacked from behind and thrown onto a car, and the last thing she remembers is seeing Naomi running. Okay, this pissed me off. All this fucking time, you remember Naomi running. You didn't mention it once, you didn't text her, you didn't tell Bianca, you didn't tell Nick Aldis, you didn't tell anyone else, you didn't tell, the cops maybe? I know that doesn't work in wrestling, but so you didn't tell anyone? That really upset me. Now, I don't know if it was that she just remembered it was Naomi a while ago, but it makes you think maybe someone else is involved, and I think it is. I don't think Naomi is the only one. I'm anticipating that it's going to be revealed that Naomi acted along with Lash Legend and Jakar Jackson, both from NXT, and they're going to have a new heel group, the three of them. But, so Jade's saying that she doesn't remember being attacked, and then, as she's talking to Kathy Kelly, she's then interrupted by Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, who just so happened to be walking into the empty arena as Jade's doing an interview, and they yell at her. Liv mocks her, and Liv's annoying here. Whenever Jade would try to talk, Liv would just go with her fart and make with her mouth and like make that stupid fart noise that a 5-year-old would make. It just got really annoying here. I like Liv, but man, she can be annoying sometimes. Sets a match next week with Jade Cargill and Liv Morgan. I don't know what Liv's doing at WrestleMania. What? I mean, she has to have a match. She's just had such a good year. She really deserves a match. I think she will get a match, but it's going to be such low profile. I really hope she gets something. Not in the Fatal 4-Way, but I think she'll get a tag team title match. And it's weird because Raquel is going for the Intercontinental title, Women's Intercontinental title now, so we'll see what happens there. They had B-Fab in the back in this bricked hallway. And I say arenas look different. We never see that in like an American arena, but here like this really cool brick hallway. I like the visuals a lot. She got the promo on Charlotte. She talked in Spanish a bit. A lot of the wrestlers some of them speak Spanish because there's so much promotions in Mexico and there's so many Spanish-speaking fans in the U.S., so a lot of them learned Spanish. So they took it over to Europe and actually took it to the origins of Spain, the Spanish language in Europe, and spoke it there. So she's getting a promo on Charlotte, and then we have B-Fab in Charlotte. So fans are into Charlotte, but I don't know if what they were chanting. So earlier in the match, like Charlotte flips off the fans. I think they were chanting Tiffy time, and he had this weird spot where Charlotte starts using Stephanie Vacker's move. I'm thinking, what the hell? She's doing that great spot. I wish Stephanie was on SmackDown so I wouldn't have to hear Booker T. But I was thinking, why? Why would she do that? Why? Maybe it's a tribute to Stephanie Vacker because she speaks Spanish, even though she's not Spanish, not born in Spain at least. I guess she is Spanish. She has Spanish heritage. But I mean, she's Chilean. I just didn't know I didn't think it was appropriate to do that. I guess if they were in Chile or Argentina or something, I guess we can do it as a tribute to her. It's where she's from, around that region. But Spain, it didn't fit. And it almost got me thinking, yeah, she's coming off a little bit petty here. I don't know, some jealousy? Is that why Charlotte was mad at Becky? Okay, I'm just saying. But she eventually won. She hit the natural selection. She hit the figure eight. She won't let B-Fab go, which is fine because we know what that sets up. B-Fab tapped out already, but Charlotte leaves it in, and then Tiffany Stratton makes a save. And I thought this was probably one of the best parts of the show. They brawl. The security tries to separate them. Tiffany jumps off the steps onto security guards. Charlotte then jumps off the unstable. Then Tiffany takes out everyone. She jumps off the top rope and she hits the 10 senton bomb. Everyone takes a note, but she actually misses Charlotte. She just lands on security guards, and the securities all catch her so she doesn't hit the floor. I mean, everyone would want to protect Tiffany Stratton, but she takes out all these male security guards. She doesn't hit Charlotte, just sells it anyway. I guess it was okay, but it was fine. They're eventually separated or taken to the back, and then you have this Drew McIntyre video package when they come back. They recap all the times he got screwed, and he always lost to Priest. First was WrestleMania when Punk screwed him. Then it was Clash of the Castle in Scotland when he lost to Priest again because Punk interfered. Then he lost a triple threat match after he won Money in the Bank because of Punk. And then there was the one at the Rumble when he got eliminated by Priest, and in the Chamber when he was also eliminated by Priest. So they show us highlights. Then after that's recap, they show highlights when we come back from commercial break of AJ Styles when he ended Jinder Mahal's reign of terror in 2017. Oh, thanks for the memories. I guess that was just European memories because that was in London, not in Spain, Barcelona, but they were just showing European moments. That was a good one. I reviewed that show for LRMania in 2017, and I was so relieved to see that horrible title reign end. Don't make her ever relive that reign of terror again, WWE. So Miz is out, but then once he comes out and he's talking, Charlotte and Tiffany are back again. They're brawling backstage, I guess, but then they make their way back to the stage area and they fight. Their security tries to separate them, and then all of a sudden we see Tiffany leave the camera frame. We just see Charlotte with security, and now Tiffany Stratton's on the top of the set of the Titantron. This is a small set, it's a smaller Titantron. The big set, I mean, that wouldn't happen. She'd die basically. But the smaller set, she jumps on the top of the screen and she hits a senton bomb, takes out everyone, including Charlotte. Everyone goes down. She lays them out after she just takes out everyone with this move. It looks like awesome. It was an awesome spot when she did that. We never get to see wrestlers do that anymore. And I know it's a smaller screen, but still is a great visual. Tiff came off as a total superstar here, and I think this is what this match needed. This feud, needed, because it's really been slow as hell. Charlotte's just been kicking her ass the last 3 weeks. She's totally made Tiffy look like a total bitch and just a coward, and she's getting her ass kicked by Charlotte. Now she finally gets revenge. She takes out everyone. Tiff looked like a badass babyface and a total star here. She needed this. So we go to the Miz in the ring. He introduces his guest from Miz TV, Cody Rhodes. He immediately insults Cody because he's upset that Tiffany and Charlotte took away his time. He's mad at him, and Cody ain't having none of it. He just lays out Miz with the crossroads. Fans cheer. Then he cuts a promo. He says he'll be there on Monday for John Cena's big return. John Cena is going to talk for the first time in Brussels, Belgium this Monday. Then we go. That's how the segment ended. It's brief. Part of me wishes Cody never really was on TV, since that SmackDown one, which was great. Because the SmackDown one last week, he had a really bad. The eye was still busted. Here, everything's clear. You can't even notice anything anymore. It's like his face is healed, and it would have been more effective for us to see him look like that once. Then we see him later with Cena. I don't know. Feels like some of that's just worn off, but Cena's promo, I'm sure, on Monday will be great. Nick Aldis is backstage. He's upset with Shinsuke Nakamura for hitting a ref with the mist. Damian Priest appears, wants to fight. Nakamura insults him in Japanese. Priest responds in Spanish. Fans understand what he's saying. It sets up a match. We get Damian Priest and Shinsuke Nakamura. We get a mysterious promo before the match. I assume it has to be the Wyatt Six. It was weird. There was one of two. It has to be Wyatt Six. Priest is over in front of a Spanish-speaking crowd. Priest is Puerto Rican, but spoke Spanish. He can speak Spanish. The people are cheering for their fellow Spanish speaker. Drew jumped Priest, causing a DQ after he was about to win. He fights back, however, but then he gets hit by Kinshasa by Nakamura. Nakamura then leaves. Doesn't look like Nakamura is leaving by what I saw tonight. Then Drew just beats down Damian Priest, uses steps, hits him out with a claymore, leaves him laying, stomps on his head. Setting up their match. Kathy Kelly interviews DIY about the Street Profits match. Motor City Machine Guns confront them. He had Randy Orton heading to the ring. Then we came back, and backstage, Kathy Kelly interviews Chelsea Green and her group, which features Alba Fire, who is SmackDown in Scotland soon, or is Raw in the one? I think Raw's in Scotland, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think she'll get to perform in front of her home crowd, but she did get to do it last year at the Clash of the Castle. And Piper Niven and Zelina Vega, then it appears she challenges her. I heard Zelina Vega, she went to somewhere in Spain. I think it was to an opera, or I forget what it's called. I'll look it up, actually. Sorry, it wasn't an opera. It was a Sagrada Familia in Spain, historic monument. And I guess she wasn't dressed properly. It's a Catholic church, so she I guess wasn't dressed the best. And but they let her in eventually, and her and Kathy Kelly and Tiffany Stratton all went in. Anyway, Zelina challenges Chelsea Green to a match, and eventually gets set up with her and Piper are set up for a match, and they'll wrestle next week. And Zelina wants the women's U.S. title from Chelsea Green. Randy Orton comes out, he gets a huge pop. As I said, he's like a monarch in Europe. That's what he is. They love him in Spain. They love him everywhere. Fans sing his song perfectly, and they're doing such a good rendition, and it made me like Randy Orton's song for a bit, which I hate his song. I love his old song. I hate Voices. I never liked that song. But then you get Randy and Carmelo. Randy won with an RKO. It was an okay match. It was a great RKO that he pinned him with. After the match, he raises up Carmelo Hayes, tries to shake his hand, but Carmelo just shoves him away. Randy hits a second RKO. Carmelo sells it great, and he's going for a punt. But then Kevin Owens appears out of nowhere and drags out Carmelo Hayes, and I'm thinking to myself, why? Why does he give a shit about Carmelo Hayes? He drags him out and runs away in the crowd. Thinking to myself, I mean, Kevin as a heel, he doesn't give a shit about anyone. Why would he care about Carmelo Hayes? He doesn't care if he gets punted. That didn't make any sense. They recap the beginning of the show. Jimmy Uso, Jacob Fatu cuts a promo on Braun with Solo and Tama with him. He says he will face him next week. Gunther comes out, and then we go to commercial, and we get a random 4 promo. I'm thinking it's the Wyatt 6, something with Wyatt 6. Maybe it's with Alexa Bliss, who I haven't seen in a while since the Chamber, but something there. Gunther says he wishes he was in Madrid, Spain, instead of Barcelona. I guess he prefers there, and that really pissed the fans off. So I'm not familiar. Is there like a rivalry with the two of them? But Madrid's another historic city in Spain. They did Barcelona. I guess maybe next year they can do Madrid. But I just thought that was genuinely funny. It's just the way I thought he would say, like, oh, I wish I was in Vienna or Berlin. He said Madrid, and then it got them angry. Gunther then calls out his opponent, who, out of nowhere, I can't believe it, the man from Spain, the Spanish-born wrestler from NXT, one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions, Axiom. Axiom comes out, and man, I get to watch Gunther and Axiom. I'm all pumped up, and they delivered. They had a great match up here. I wish they had more time. I think if they had more time, they could have had like a classic match I don't know what we're talking about, but this was great. Fans loved Axiom, everything he did. They cheered for whenever he got offense, and Gunther was great. There's doing a spot where the Spanish fly. They tease it, but they didn't do it. I think to myself, why? You're in Spain. This is your one chance to do a Spanish fly. You missed a Spanish fly in Spain. You're kidding me. Anyway, it was a cool spot here. He had some good moments, but eventually Gunther hits a powerbomb. Axiom kicks out the first one, and eventually he hits the second one and pins him later in the match. Then he puts him on a sleeper hold, and everyone thinks Jay's coming out. And I thought, well, they're making Jay look bad because everyone thinks he's coming to make the save, and he doesn't. So, anyway, he put the sleeper. I don't know why he needed to on Axiom, but they had him do that. And I think everyone thought Jay's coming for sure. They recap the Raw main event with Punk and Seth and Roman. Then they had a Paul Heyman segment. I thought this sucked. He just talked about W2K25, which was released today, promoted the video game for like 3 minutes, and then he talks about how Roman Reigns is going to be on Raw. I'm thinking, why is he here? And then the weirdest thing happens. The fans booed at Roman's on Raw, not SmackDown. Again, sorry, Barcelona. He never was advertised for the show. But they want him on SmackDown. And Heyman says, all you have to... Oh, did I say he's on Raw? He's on SmackDown next week in Florence, Italy. So pay attention why I'm going to mention this, because this idiot Heyman did this. He says, oh, why do you care? You just buy a plane ticket from cheapo airlines and fly to Italy. And it's not like Mussolini's going to stop you from going in. I thought, oh, you idiot. What, this guy's so dumb. Anyway, he has to mention Benito Mussolini in Barcelona, Spain. I thought maybe would have mentioned Franco. He's from Spain, Francisco Franco. Wouldn't mention another guy. I think if he mentioned the other guy, who I probably think he'd get in a lot of trouble there. Anyway, Heyman just being a goofball. But Reigns in Italy next week. And it's interesting because everyone knows Roman Reigns is Samoan. It's the bloodline. He's part of the legendary Anoa'i family. But he actually, on his mom's side, he has Italian heritage. I wonder if he'll mention that. But they preview next week's SmackDown. Did I say Florence, Italy? It's Bologna, Italy. Sorry. It's going to be a big show next week. Roman Reigns is there. So you have Cena on Raw. And then you have Reigns on SmackDown next week. Street Profits head to the ring. Legata interrupts them. And I'm thinking, why are these guys are going to be released soon? Anyway, you had Gunther with Jim Uso backstage. He's trying to convince him that Jay will lose, and Jimmy cuts a promo praising Jay and how he will beat Gunther at WrestleMania. Main event, the WWE Tag Team titles, DIY Defender belts against the Street Profits. Okay matchup here. It was alright. I was waiting for the show to end. It's a bit tired by the end. Street Profits won as we all expected. They're new WWE Tag Team champions. It's better because DIY is getting no reaction. Motor City Machine Gun to get no reaction. No one gives a shit about Legado. So Street Profits are the best teams to put on, and they are your new tag team champions. And that's how SmackDown ended from Spain. We will see what happens next in Europe as WWE continues their tour, which, unlike previous years, is actually before WrestleMania. So this year, the road to WrestleMania goes through Europe.